Peter Hain.
Mr Deputy Speaker, I very much echo the sentiments just expressed by the Right Honourable Member. Change and modernisation in this House has always been problematic. As I recall, when Leader of the Commons between 2003 and 2005 tried to persuade the House to take its security seriously. The Director General of MI5 and the police wanted a professional in charge of security, which was a nightmare, frankly. But there was strong resistance to change of the kind we now see, to splitting the roles of clerk and chief executive, until events conspired to overtake those blocking change. You may remember the scaling of Greenpeace activists at Big Ben, the flower bomb at Prime Minister's questions, and of course Huntsman invading the chamber itself. Only then did we move to appoint a full-time professional head of security, which nobody in their right mind would now question. And I believe that in future years nobody will question the separation of functions of the Clerk of the House and the Chief Executive. With two separate appointments, it will seem like common sense that I believe it should now. For today we have a part-time Clerk and a part-time Chief Executive. And that is no disrespect at all to the holders of the post, with whom I've worked closely and admire. The Clerk's onerous parliamentary duties occupy the majority of the working day, managing all the immensely complex procedural issues which surround the legislative and other functions of the House, duties, in my view, which can only be carried out with the experience and specialist knowledge of a clerk such as Sir Robert Rogers and his able deputies. But everybody who's had the privilege, like I have had, to be involved on the inside of the Commons knows full well that the Chief Executive aspects of this duty inevitably fit around this primary procedural duty taking second priority. That is the truth of the matter. As a Chief Executive, the Clerk effectively now has a splendid building under his charge, a UNESCO World Heritage Site attracting well over 1 million visitors each year from all over the world, overseeing 1,750 staff, equivalent to a very large business with a budget of over 200 million. Additionally, there's almost the same number of staff working for members, bringing the total to over 3,500 on the precincts, and for whom the Clerk in his CEO role is ultimately responsible. As corporate officer for the Commons, clerks required to enter into contracts on behalf of the House to acquire and manage land and property. As accounting officer, has responsibilities for public finance, resource accounting and internal control, and attends meeting of the House's Audit Committee. Is responsible for good corporate governance, meeting social and environmental regulations, retaining and motivating top quality employees through ensuring complex employment law, fair remuneration and contracts, and all of these are also introducing proper systems and controls which affect risk management too. These are onerous duties in today's litigious, closely regulated employment and administrative environment. And I do not think the skill sets required in the modern age to undertake those tasks can be necessarily compatible with those required to be Clerk of the House. And as for who would be the superior role, I think that's a red herring. Each would be answerable to the Speaker, who's the preeminent figure here. So in summary, my experience as leader has convinced me that these two posts should be separated. I think the extra cost involved can be offset by perhaps questioning the continued employment of a Director General of Facilities. And why should the Clerk have a superior salary to the Speaker or indeed the Prime Minister?